Hello and welcome to another How to Code Well web chat. My name is Peter Fisher, and in today's talk I'm going to discuss the British Computer Society event that I went to on Wednesday, as well as some other bits and pieces that I'm getting up to later on in this video. Now, on Wednesday I went to the British Computer Society event on the Bristol branch, and that was a series of talks by various companies of different sizes regarding supercomputing. So they were talking about the things that they can offer, not only in terms of the hardware, but also in terms of the software. Also a discussion on what might be coming up in the future in supercomputing and what the demands are, what the needs are for supercomputing, as well as some tremendously staggering figures around the amount of computing power on offer and where that's going in the future. Staggering stuff. And the demand for supercomputing is increasing, especially around film. So when you're rendering out CGI animation, you often use high frame rates, high quality, often 20K kind of rendering quality plus. And you need to have the processing power, the CPU power, the RAM, all of that stuff, the compute, the just amount of sheer calculations to do all that stuff. You just can't do, in a normal office, and so you outsource that to other companies. And you might be thinking, look, supercomputing, PHP programming, Python, mobile app development, there's quite a jump, a leap, if you will, to that. But in actual fact, at the end of the day, those things need software to run. They also need software to control how the many nodes are hooked together and working. So, as I keep saying, web development is not necessarily just, building websites. So those talks were fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And also the networking side was brilliant because, as a freelancer, you could speak to people to talk about not only your business, but also listen to other businesses as well and find out what they're doing. Also, the thing with networking is that it's not just getting your name out there. It's not just listening to what else is going on around you, but it's also having the ability to direct your current clients and advise them and point them in directions and maybe tell them to speak to X or Y about such and such. It may not even be anything related to what you're working on, but you might be able to offer some advice, some recommendations, offer the things that you hear when you are networking, which is wonderful because you're building up that network, you're building up that contact list. Now, I know that there are some freelancers who do watch this, so one thing I would definitely recommend to you is to go to conferences, go to talks that aren't necessarily directly related to what it is that you're doing, because you don't know who else is going to be there. You don't know what questions your clients might have, an indirect question to what you perhaps might be working on, and you could advise them, and that becomes a very beneficial thing. It's a very good thing to have, the ability to direct your clients in different ways and so forth. So that is a fundamental reason why I try and go to as many of these things as possible, or why I'm trying to go to more. So that was the British Computer Society event on Wednesday. In the future, I'm going to a lot more of these things. The next one is about military and virtual reality, using virtual reality within the military. That is going to be a fascinating talk. Again, not necessarily directly related to what I do in my day-to-day job, but still, it's something that interests me. I see virtual reality as something that is going to be getting bigger. It's like a snowball effect in the future, especially when mobile phones are getting more powerful and the cameras are getting more intelligent and so forth. And you can slowly see this cropping in with things like the Apple iPhone X and so forth that have been announced recently. That as well as augmented reality and so forth. Now, an announcement that I would like to make is that I'm actually going to be doing a talk myself. I've spoken before in a previous web chat like this that one of my goals for the end of the year is to do at least one talk, one speaking event by the end of the year. And I must say, it's quite scary, quite nerve-wracking. And I'm actually going to do my first talk with the PHP Southwest users group. I'm not going to say what the talk is on, I'm not going to say when the talk is, but it will happen soon. In fact, what I would like to do is, for the next web chat, is actually do a video where I'm practicing my talk. So do subscribe to check that out. Like I said, I'm not going to give too much away right now because I'm still at the early stages of talking to the organizers and just sort of storyboarding and brainstorming and coming up with ideas and concepts for a talk. But that's going to be at PHP Southwest. So I'm dead excited and a little bit nervous, bit terrified as well. Another thing that I would like to announce is that the How to Code Well YouTube channel now has its own Patreon page. So if you've seen any tutorials and you've learned anything from those, or if you just like the content that I do and you want to show your support and appreciation, then do check out the Patreon page. There is also a number of rewards that you can do depending on the tiers and so forth. So do check that out. Any donations will be much appreciated. Also, tomorrow we're going to be doing a live stream, like usual, Coffee and Code, and I'll be announcing the time of that on Twitter and Instagram and so forth. So if you don't follow me on those things, then do follow those. So Twitter is How to Code Well, as well as Instagram. But as always, everyone, thanks ever so much for watching. Happy coding, and I will see you either in the next web chat, the next tutorial, or in the live stream tomorrow on Twitch. Thank you ever so much. Cheers.